It is currently 5:40 in the morning. We're hunting through 3 Tennessee flea markets and we're in the wrong state. Let's go. We're at the Tri-Cities Flea Market here in Bluff City, Tennessee. Let's see what we find.
The first booth we went to had a decent collection of SNES and N64 games. However, starting up the trip and knowing some of the places we would go, I only picked up Turok Rage Wars. The next booth was Memory Lane Toy Box, which is always one of my favorite stops. They're home to a lot of 80s era toys from Master of the Universe to G.I. Joe to Transformers. I was excited to see a decent collection of X-Men Toy Biz figures, as well as Titanus. However, I'm looking for the OG Titanus complete in box, and all they had were the Toys R Us exclusive Legacy Zords. All I want to do is complete my childhood dream of creating the Ultra Zord. The third booth at this flea market had a decent selection of GameCube and PlayStation games that were priced relatively around price charting. Yet with a 2-week trip on the horizon, I'm going to be a little picky with what I'm picking up. This fourth booth is normally where we find some really good VHS, but the owner also had some great 90s nostalgic items like this Spike Plush from Rugrats. However, he wanted $45 for it and I more like $15 liked it. The last booth we found at Tri-Cities Flea Market is a booth heavily inspired by anime and Japanese culture. I always consider myself to be more of a Pokemon fan, but I keep coming across 90s Digimon figures and I can't help but pick a few nostalgic ones up along the way. Something I forgot to mention that we also picked up at this booth were these Pokemon Tomy figures. One of the goals that I've set for myself is trying to collect all the 151 original Tomy Pokemon figures. So as we head to the next flea market, let's see what our haul is so far. The next flea market we stopped at was the Great Smokies Flea Market in Sevierville, Tennessee, host to over 1,000 rotating vendors. The Great Smokies Flea Market hasn't always been a goldmine for us, but if you don't look, you'll never find it. The first booth that we stopped at is a booth that single-handedly started and almost completed my wife's Star Wars collection a few years back. So they normally tend to surprise us with at least one thing. Looking around, there were a lot of G.I. Joe, TMNT, odds and ends, but then I saw it. They had it. They had the final Battletoad, Pimple, hiding in a case. I've slowly found the other Bend and Battletoads in the wild, so once again, this booth surprised us. In the next booth, we had our first Madball sighting of the trip, yet it was one of the KidBot reissues. I've been trying to find either the original Madballs or the head poppers for my collection. Most of the Great Smokies Flea Market was full of handmade items, leather goods, or discount merchandise. Unfortunately, being 95 plus degrees with little to no ventilation, many of the booths opted to close for the day. But let's add to the pile before we head to the last stop. Our last stop was Flea Trader's Paradise, and I'll be honest, typically we only come here for one booth, and that's Triple C Collectibles. Triple C Collectibles has become one of our favorite stops on the trip simply because of the sheer size. It's like walking into a nostalgia museum. You never know what you're going to find. Kind of like these BC bikers. I've seen quite a bit of Biker Mice from Mars products, but this is the first time I've ever seen BC bikers.
BC bikers, dinosaurs of the Chrome Age! Join up with these Jurassic jamming thunder lizards! Tar, the leather-eyed leader, Scales, the deaf dude, Crank, the maniac mechanic, Rev, the wild rider. Each BC biker comes with his own motorized, pullback motorcycle. Totally articulated, bro! BC bikers, dinosaurs of the Chrome Age! New from Street Kids.
Triple C had quite a bit to offer, from knockoff Madballs to a loose Titanus. It almost seemed like the store was mocking me at times. Yet something I absolutely love are advertising mascots. Maybe it's the consumerist in me, but when I saw Scrubby from the Scrubbing Bubbles commercials, I knew he had to come home with me. As I was checking out, I was talking to the owner Jordan about our toy hunting proclivities, and hearing about my goal to collect all 151 Pokemon, he pulls out a Venusaur. Little did Jordan know is that Bulbasaur was my first and favorite starter, so Venusaur and I spent many a day traversing through Pokemon Red. With the additions from Tri-City Flea Markets and Triple C Collectibles, this now brings my total to 42 out of 151 Tomy Pokemon figures. Overall, the haul from the 3 flea markets was pretty amazing. However, there are definitely items that are at the top of my hunting list, and we still have a lot of trip ahead of us. Thank y'all for watching the video. If you'd like and subscribe if you haven't already, it does mean a lot. And until the next hunt, peace.